Hey, this is Tom, and this is
Steve,
and this is Hair Today,
gone tomorrow.
or maybe it should be Hair Today.
Gone tomorrow.
Yeah, whichever.
It works.
Anyhow, we're here at Vinyl Night and said once a month Steve and I kind of get together and Brian lets us talk into a video camera. We're not sure why. Maybe Brian has drank too much meat and he's just said, we'll let these guys talk on video.
Yeah. It sounds like a plan to me.
So what are we going to talk about today, Steve? Let's start with a little conspiracy theory, you know?
Uh-oh.
You ever heard of these guys?
Yes, the Beatles.
The Beatles, right? So what's the conspiracy with the Beatles? This is Sgt. Pepper. Now, all the albums they said had some clues about their deaths on them, okay? Well, particularly the death of Paul McCartney, right?
Right.
Do you know what we got in the front here? So, in the front, there is a guitar, a left-handed guitar in the front that is made out of marijuana leaves because they said Paul McCartney was smoking marijuana when he crashed his car and died, right?
Oh, right.
Did you know all this stuff?
No, I did not.
Okay, so that's in it too. If you look at Paul McCartney's image here, there's a hand coming out over the top of the head. That's just supposed to be a phantom hand because he's dead. All right? Got to look on the inside here for another quick hint. So on Paul's sleeve, there is a thing that says OPD, which is officially pronounced dead. Okay?
Oh.
Then on the back, George is pointing to the time that Paul died. Probably can't see that very well in the video. Lots of clues in this one. The name Billy Shears, they said, was the name of the guy that actually took over for Paul when Paul was murdered. Did you know all of this incredibly useless trivia about Paul McCartney's death?
All I ever knew was that Paul was the walrus.
The walrus was Paul. On the back of Abbey Road, you can see this?
Yes.
It is a broken piece of concrete. This is where Paul supposedly rammed his car into. There's the license plate says 28 if. That means he would have been 28 if he was still alive. Harrison, dressed as a gravedigger. McCartney holding a cigarette in his right hand. We all know Paul's a lefty. In bare feet, because in England they bury the dead.
Right. With
That's
their
when you know the
shoes.
vinyl is shining so you can't see a lot of stuff.
Oh, you're talking about the film on top of it is making it hard
Do I
to see
have to
the
go
album.
back and redo that? Our director's talking to us.
He is. It is. There is.
All right, hold on.
There is a lot
Is that
of
better?
glare.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Okay, so let's after that incredible edit, let's go back to this. So basically, it says 28 if on the Beetle itself, which the Beetle is a car. So Paul would have been 28 if he was alive.
And a Beatle.
Harrison is dressed as a gravedigger. McCartney, bare feet, like he's dead. Cigarette in right hand, he was a lefty, so that means it's not the real Paul McCartney. Ringo's the priest, and John Lennon in white, supposed to be God.
Ah.
But more importantly, there was a very important piece of evidence about Paul McCartney's death in an Alice Cooper album.
They were more popular than Jesus for a while.
They were. But Alice Cooper put in his album what Paul McCartney was wearing when he passed away. Can you show us that, Steve, in this Alice Cooper album?
Yes. If what Tom is saying is true,
Right? Paul McCartney was wearing girls' panties, supposedly, when he passed away. And that is why Alice Cooper, in his album, has the girls' panties on it.
really,
Do you believe that, Steve?
you haven't lied to me yet, Tom.
Well, I may be lying to you right now. But anyhow, I did want to say that Panties album, of course.
I
is
thought
one
it
of
was
the more
because it was a schoolboy's dream to have
panties in his
like
desk.
what was the movie, Sweet 16?
Yeah, all right. I believe that is the only album with panties. I got to say, I'm kind of jealous that you have an album with ladies' panties holding it.
Oh, don't know what to tell you, Tom.
All right, listen. I don't know how much time of yours we've wasted, but we're going to continue to waste some more time. What else? What else we got in the stack, Steve?
I recently acquired Aerosmith Toys in the Attic.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with that one. Classic Jimi Hendrix. Got all his good stuff.
Okay.
Old in the Way, Jerry Garcia and Friends.
I believe you have a shirt on.
I am, in fact, wearing
the
my
same
Old
shirt.
in the Way
Look at this.
shirt.
Incredible.
So, it's the coincidences just continue.
It's amazing.
Some George Thurley good with Move It On Over and Who Do You Love?
I don't know. Who do you love, Steve?
We don't have time for that, Tom.
Okay. Sorry. Maybe next.
Who do you love?
Yeah. Speedwagon, you know, Can't go wrong with them. You can tune
This
and
is back when Kevin Cronin actually still
Yeah.
had black hair.
Heard it from a friend. I heard it from a friend, Tom.
Heard it from a friend.
Our camera person is the
Who'd it
absolute
from
worst,
another?
camera
Who heard it
person we
from
should have-
another, yeah.
we should have ever had. All right, that
Yeah.
is our camera person. We had Brian do it last month.
You did know you can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish.
You cannot tune a fish. You got to roll with the changes.
Yeah,
Gotta roll
and
with the
then-
changes, Steve.
Who doesn't like Hold the Line?
Let me hold it. Okay, I'm holding the line. Very
That
good.
would be Becca. That would be Becca doesn't like
You
Tuck
do realize that, like, we're supposed to be doing the video and you're just talking throughout the whole thing?
Yes, the disembodied voice. So.
I'm making comments.
Yeah.
Speaking of rusty old men like JT,
Don't mind the man
I did
behind
bring
the
I
curtain.
did bring a few of my favorite live pieces. This is Neil Young live Rust. My hey hey,
Rock and roll is here to stay.
something like that. My favorite live Rush recording, All the World is a Stage, which means we're all actors, we're all
like
leading
this
players.
album?
Whoa! Out of the sky, in the
Oh!
court of the Crimson King.
21st century schizoid man.
Yes, I actually interviewed Greg Lake at one point.
Nice.
Yes, that's true. Our producer, John JT Thomas, was moving the album so that you could see it.
When you angled up, light.
So this is this cover is actually portraying a person with excellent teeth. That's the purpose of it.
Yes.
Did you know that? Very good teeth. All right, what else do we have here? The final selection this evening. One of my favorite Cheap Trick albums. A little trivia question for everyone at the bar. The album that we're listening to right now and this album have something in common. What is that? It's upside
They're
back
both
their albums.
pressed on vinyl.
Okay.
Hold up,
that's
hold
one
up.
thing.
This album that's rotating right now on the turntable has something in common with
This album.
this album.
Anyhow, it's the content, not
Well-
the actual album itself.
We'll work on our cameraman next
We'll work
time.
on a kill. We definitely know this guy's not getting invited back.
Strange influence.
So I will give you a hint. It's not a musician, but it is somebody that had an important part of the album.
Catering?
No, catering is not correct. Anyone else?
The album art?
No, not the album art, but that's a great guess. Nothing? Okay. Their role was as producer.
Oh, I was gonna guess that, but I thought I was wrong.
Yeah, I was almost about ready to guess
That was
but I thought
almost
it was like
too obvious.
Almost too obvious. It is George Martin. George Martin of the
the
Beatles
Beatles.
fame
right.
produced this album by Cheap
Oh.
Trick, All
Oh.
Shook Up. And it's really kind of cool because George didn't do a lot of stuff outside of the Beatles. It's called All Shook Up. Watch, you can see.
Cheap Trick?
It's indeed All Shook Up.
I met Tom Werman.
Tom Werman, oh, he produced some He produced the first Cheap Trick album. I think
Produced
the
Ted
first,
Nugent.
second one. That's very cool.
He owns a bed and breakfast in Western Mass, and my mother cleaned for him. I got to interview him.
I had a Western Mass once. It was on my Western butt cheek.
Oh.
We had that drained. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with our Here Today Gone Tomorrow.
No, perhaps not.
Steve, do you think there's any salvageable footage out of this particular episode?
There's always enjoyable stuff when we get together,
There's something
Tom.
that we can do. Anyhow, if you enjoy this and want to continue seeing them, I don't know what's wrong with you. But we'll continue to make them. We'll continue to pester Brian to force him to allow us to make these things. And if he doesn't, we'll stalk him.
We'll just do it in secret.
We'll do it in secret. All right. So, from Tom and Steve, Here Today,
Gone tomorrow.
see you in a month.